Hey guys, welcome back to Building Behind the Scenes, and before we get started, yes, there is a Halloween explosion on my face. Yes, today we are doing Halloween movies, so I thought they'd go hand in hand and I'd go a little bit crazy with my makeup, and yes, this is a bat. I drew a bat on my face.
I love Halloween.
Okay, now that that's out of the way. Today we are not going to just be focusing on one movie rather than a collection of classic Halloween movies. The movies in this video are going to be more of what's seen on Freeform/ABC Family. I went kind of with like a family-friendly type of movie for this video because in next week's video I'm going to be focusing on horror icons and more of the horror side of Halloween. So this week I figured go with Halloween movies that everybody still loves but just a different side. I wanted to separate them because there are so many and I wanted to try to cover as many as I could. So they're in two sections. Now for those of you who don't know, Building Behind the Scenes is where I take, in this case, Halloween movies. I split them up into different Sims rooms randomly, and then I build the rooms dependent on what film that I get. So without further ado, let's get into the Halloween build. The movies we have in today's build are Addams Family, Casper the Friendly Ghost, Beetlejuice, Halloweentown, Is the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Even though it's not a movie, I had to incorporate it. It's a classic. I watch it every year, so I had to incorporate this one. The Witches, Little Shop of Horrors, and Frankenweenie. Alright, so let's find out who's going to be on the outside of the house. Number 9, Beetlejuice. Okay. It's going to be hard to depict an entire movie off one room, so I'll probably go off of a few of the main characters and use them mainly as the inspiration and take that best represents the movie and the characters, since the characters are a lot of the times the faces of the movie. So what I'm thinking is doing, I don't know if the whole house or part of the house in black and white stripes for Beetlejuice's tuxedo, and then maybe adding some vines on the outside like his mossy makeup. Why do you do this? It's fine. It can be red. There is quite a bit of red in the movie, so that can be red. That's not a problem. Now some of you may be thinking, this is way literal. This is very literal. And to which I have to agree. But honestly, I think they come out really nicely when it's very literal. I chose red because it is in the movie quite often, especially when Beetlejuice is about to marry Lydia. Her wedding dress is red, and they had chose to make it red instead of white because of an old rhyme about wedding dress colors that goes, married in red, better off dead. And so that was sort of like a nod to that old rhyme. What if I did like a simple type of door like that, and it's kind of like the door that, I know they do it on brick, but like the door that you draw in order to get to the other side. For help from Juno, their caseworker.
Not bad.
They just have super long windows, kind of like this, almost, without like the decorative detail on the sides. And I know I'm going off the characters as well as the house. And Barbara and Adam, you know, they love the house, so I want to keep that in as well. Because even though it doesn't really look like their house, I want to keep like elements to it. In the opening of the credits in the movie, during the Geffen logo, I think that's how you say it, I'm not quite sure, you can hear Danny Elfman singing the Deo song in one of the best scenes during dinner when they're all possessedly singing the song and dancing. I love that part. Though Beetlejuice is one of the main characters and one of the most known, he doesn't show up until about half an hour in the film. And then even then, he only has about 17.5 minutes of actual screen time. That's a mess and it looks great. Okay, that's it for the outside wall, so let's go ahead and see who's going to get the yard. Little Shop of Horrors. I can work with Little Shop of Horrors for the outside. Okay, so this I think is as close to Audrey 2 as I'm going to get as a cow plant. And I'll probably put like a little greenhouse type situation in the back. That's the one I was looking for. Yeah, the green and the yellow checkerboard floor that they have. Put over here a little fence so then Audrey too can sweet talk the Sims.
Must be fresh.
I'm gonna give them a grand old spot. Now, I know they're large to begin with, cow plants, and they're just about as tall as Sims. However, Audrey too is actually about 12 feet tall. Technicians built 6 different Audrey 2s in various sizes. I hate that it just doesn't like show me that he's there. But trust me, you saw, he's there. He's large, he's in charge. Anyway, smallest one, which I'm going to put a few over here in like these corners, was a mere 4 inches tall. And then the largest Audrey 2's final form was 12 feet tall. So he's insanely big. Audrey 2's mouth was made of a foam rubber, which made it really hard for it to move quickly. And because the songs are so quick, the technicians couldn't keep up with how rapidly the songs went. So instead of trying to do it and having it not match the words, they filmed it at a slower than average rate at about 12 to 16 frames per minute. And then they sped it up to their regular 24 frames per second in order to match it. And because he's such a large animatronic, the 12-foot Audrey 2 took about 60 people to maneuver every bit of him. You know, just all the people he's eaten. The bodies aren't really here, of course, but this is just trophy, say? Alright, so that is it for the backyard. Okay, now who is going to get this itty bitty entranceway here? It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Probably go with black and then do some sort of yellow wall for Charlie Brown's shirt. Now to Great Pumpkinify it. Now in these corners we are going to put little ghost lights for how all of the kids like dressed up. There's the candy dish for the trick-or-treaters. There's Charlie Brown's rock. Oh, you know what? No. Okay, and I'm going to put not 1, not 2, but 3 rocks. And that was actually a really big debate between animators, because one animator was jokingly like, hey, what if we gave Charlie Brown a rock for Halloween because it gets left out of everything? And then the other animator was like, no, that's way too mean to do to Charlie Brown. And they kept going like back and forth about it. And then the more one animator pushed, the more the other one pushed in the opposite direction, until finally the one animator who suggested the rock idea was like so fed up with the other guy arguing with him. He said, okay, Charlie Brown gets 3 rocks now because of what you were doing. But because of this, children felt so badly about Charlie Brown getting rocks that they would send in candy to the studio for Charlie Brown. And this went on for quite a few years, which is really cute. But they were like, he didn't get any, can I send him some? That room is done. So let's go ahead and move on to the living room over here and see what we get. 13 all the way down. So we are going with Frankenweenie, which means all black and white. No color whatsoever. I'm not doing it. I'm not adding anything other than black and white. And it's actually the first black and white animated feature ever to be made. And that's probably because once animation came around, and it was a big thing to have colors and color TV. So when animated first started, of course they wanted to use color because it's special. I had never realized that there wasn't a film that was animated and also black and white until I had, looked up about Frankenweenie. Aside from, of course, like Steamboat Willie and Mickey Mouse and everything. But those were more short than an animated feature. And the first puppet designs during the making of Frankenweenie was Sparky, because he's sort of like the main character in a way, other than Victor. So they wanted to get the scale correct on Sparky, and then after they had that down, they built everything else around that. One of my favorite parts in that movie is probably when Colossus is revealed and it's like a guinea pig or a hamster. I forget which one, but like I love that. I love that his name is Colossus and he's just like a guinea pig.
Mr. Whiskers had a dream about you last night.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I made this. Did you get that out of the litter box?
Girl, that's a booty hole.
Alright, and then that is done. I'll do the study first, just make my way around town. So let's see who's gonna go in the study. The witches. In order to transform Angelica Hudson into the Grand High Witch, it took about 8 hours to apply every day. That's a long time to be sitting in a chair getting prosthetics laid down. I'm sure it also felt long to the makeup artists. However, of course, with anything, it doesn't feel as long if you're doing something versus if you're not. I work at a haunted house, not this year, of course, but as a makeup artist, I'm there airbrushing the actors for the haunt. We could be having a long line and I'm there for, say, 2 hours just having people in and out. and it doesn't feel like it. Like, all of a sudden I'm doing it, and like we're going through and we're getting everybody done, and I'm like, wait, it's been 2 hours already? What happened? It's just like a rush. It's crazy. I do like talking about it and learning facts about it. I just like seeing the process and everything. I'll put a mouse trap there. Might as well. Just to kind of give representation. The ending of the film was different than the ending in the book. They did film both endings. In Roald Dahl's ending, Luke remains a mouse, and he and his grandmother plot to seek revenge on the witches. However, in the ending that remains in the film, he is turned back into a boy. And when the studio screened both endings for the film before they had decided which one, people liked the happier ending of him turning back into a boy, and so that's the one that they went with. Alright, this room is finished. Now let's go on to the bathroom here. We have Halloweentown. How could you not? It looks like a freaking pumpkin. I kind of want the wall to be a different color now to make that stand out more. Okay, so I knew that there was a blow dryer. Go ahead and add that and make sure to add like the little torch for the scene in the salon when Marnie goes and fires up the hairdryer, not knowing that it bursts flames. Those flames in the hairdryer were actually real flames. This is another movie where the ending was almost completely different than they had it. Because Marnie was supposed to place the talisman inside of a magic forest, and with every step she took, she grew older until she had reached... I imagine the ending to that was that she reached wherever she needed to and placed it in, and Halloweentown was saved. However, they changed the ending to the one that we know, where she puts the talisman inside of the pumpkin in the center of Halloweentown. Put some like witchy hats in here. And with that, it is finished. So let's go ahead and see who is over here in the kitchen. Casper, the friendly ghost. Now I do, of course, have images to go off of for the kitchen, since there are kitchen scenes in the movie, but it's not really much. And I don't know how I'm going to be able to depict this, because I also don't go in and write these lists within a thought of how am I going to do this. I just sort of go, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to incorporate? What do I like? And then I'll figure it out later. That's a problem for future me, not now me. Is that so weird? I wish it freaking connected though. Maybe if I use like a half. It looks weird, but it kind of works. I'll take it. I'll take it. I actually, oh, I like what it's doing. Okay. Now, if we see a live action movie with a main character being CGI, we don't think twice. However, Casper was the first full-length film to have a completely computer-generated main character. And because of this, Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman had to talk to tennis balls because they kept them at eye level, so it looked like they're looking at something, because they were. And then later, of course, they were composed into Casper and all the other ghosts. I think that's just about it for the kitchen though. Came out nicer than I thought. I don't know how much it screams Casper, but that's kind of hard to do. Let's finish off the downstairs and see who's going to be in the dining room over here.
It's one.
Number 1, Addams Family. A nice large table because they have quite the large family. Is there a hand by... There is! That's staying out to represent Thing. Thing was actually played by a real actor named Christopher Hart. And he would sit for hours, say with his hand under a table or on the roller skate, and he would sit there with his hand out and do all of like Thing's motions. It also took months to film the scenes that Thing was in because they had to shoot them twice. They had to shoot them once with Thing and then once without Thing. So that, say, if Christopher's body was blocking something and they go to erase his body, they couldn't use that image because they're like, well, why is Gomez's leg gone? Or something like that. Go ahead and put this on the table, even though Morticia snips the flowers off of the roses, it still gets the idea across. And Angelica Hudson, who plays Morticia, had to wear a metal corset in order to get the figure of Morticia. And alongside with a metal corset, she had gauze glued to her eyes to pull her eyes back to give them a slanted effect. So she had a lot going on during that film. Because of the gauze, that she would get headaches, but then she couldn't lay down because of the corset. Eventually, she found out ways to make it better, but it still, of course, is a metal corset and your eyes being stretched back. And Christina Ricci channeled Winona Ryder, who is Lydia in Beetlejuice, for her audition of Wednesday. Alright, here we have Uncle Nick Nack's Winter Wardrobe, Uncle Nick Nack's Summer Wardrobe, Uncle Nick Nack. What if I put pastel curtains? No. Yes. I have to include Debbie somehow. So I'm going to put some sort of pastel in here. And then I swear, a few times a year, like not even just when I'm watching the movie or after I had watched the movie, I get that freaking turkey song stuck in my head and it won't leave. Out of context, it sounds awful because I walk around the house saying, "Eat me." Eat me! No, it's stuck in my head now. Oh my god.
Take it away!
Potato barbecue, eat me! We want some past vanilla food, eat me! I did it to myself. I have nobody else to blame but myself. I think that's it. So that room is done. Alright guys, that is where I'm going to end it today. I'm going to pick it up right where we left off with this build. Let me know how you like the house coming along so far and what you look forward to seeing with what movie is left. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Eat me!